Hello there, I'm MountPain27, and this is Dean of Doom, the show where we give grades to classic and contemporary Doom wads. Why? Because ranking things is fun. Today's episode will be dedicated to No Rest for the Living, a 9-map Doom 2 expansion episode released in 2010 as a special add-on for the Xbox 360 port of Doom 2, and later bundled in with Doom 3 BFG Edition, which came out in 2012. Nowadays, it's also available on the Doom Classic Unity port. It was developed by two members of Nerve Software, Arya Iwakura and Russell Meakim, and can be considered the very last official classic Doom release, depending on your point of view. No Rest for the Living is a bit of an oddity. It was technically a commercial product, but it was never sold on its own, so it never got the distribution or notoriety enjoyed by Final Doom. It was celebrated by the Doom community, earning one of the 17th annual Cacowards, but it's not often ranked among classics like Alien Vendetta and Scythe 2, nor grouped with blockbusters of the 2010s such as Back to Saturn X, Sunlust, and Ancient Aliens. Personally, I had no designs on playing it at all until recently, when Peter Lawrence, aka MegaSphere, commissioned a community MIDI pack to replace NRFTL's stock Doom 2 soundtrack. Some notable contributors include Decino, Dwars, JD Herrera, MegaSphere himself, and Bloo, who also featured in the Master Levels MIDI pack. I couldn't turn down the chance to give them more publicity, and as you'll soon see, the wad itself is pretty darn good. Before we begin, here's how the show works. Every map gets one grade for quality and one for difficulty. On the quality side, the grades go from A to F. Grade A levels are fun, memorable, visually distinctive, creative, and a fair challenge. Difficulty grades go from X to E. X for extreme, E for easy, A through D in between. Keep in mind, I'm not exactly gifted as a Doom player, and I probably won't have the same ideas about what makes a great level as you do, but that's okay. Disagreeing is part of the fun, after all. At the end of the day, this show is really about spreading the joy of Doom, so let's do so. Before we start, the rules are we play on ultraviolence and must pistol start each level. I need to play a wad twice before reviewing it. Saves are allowed, and we go for 100% kills in all levels, making exceptions when it's just not worth it. I play on Z-Doom with compatibility set to strict. Now, to the wad. Map 1, the Earth Base. Appearances can be deceiving. The Earth Base looks like your typical slam dunk opener, a short, spineless tech base with a couple of keys, 50 monsters, and a few irrelevant secrets. You might think it bland as beige on the surface, but I assure you, its personality isn't. Outside, you can find a secret yellow key which unlocks the super shotgun. Step lively, because you'll need both barrels to stem the flood of demons that besets the base when you pick up the key. This fight is harder than it looks, as it's easy to get pinned. Acquiring the hidden chain gun will also improve your odds. The Earth Base captures the entire paradigm of No Rest for the Living right from the get-go. The handsome vanilla texturing and lighting, optional areas, incentivized secret hunting, and dialed-up difficulty succinctly summarize what this wad is all about. What really sells the experience for me is Decino's MIDI. It cradles you with its relaxed percussion and winsome melodies, then builds to a stirring conclusion. I didn't know this map existed before I reached adulthood, but by now I feel like I've grown up with it somehow. The Earth Base is an auspicious beginning. Grade A. Difficulty C-. Map 2, the Pain Labs. So here's a not very fun fact. Pistol starting No Rest for the Living doesn't work like in other wads. Ordinarily, I can just type idclev the number of the map, in this case 2, to change levels, but doing that in NRFTL sends you to Underhalls from Doom 2. The warp cheat doesn't work on these levels because they're treated like a second episode for a game that isn't split into episodes. What you have to do is suicide on the map you want to pistol start, hit the spacebar, and you're good to go. Unless you're a Z-Doom player, then you get booted back to your last save. To circumvent this, I had to start a new game for each level's recording, sprint through the maps I'd already completed with no clip and God mode enabled, turn them off and kill myself in the level I wanted to play, then hit the spacebar. If there's an easier way to do it, I don't care. It's too late now. Anyway, the Pain Labs is shorter and easier than the first map, a compact tech base so crammed with secrets it's hard not to bump into at least a few of them by accident. The action's kept at a dull roar, and none of the fights really stand out except the Cacodemon ambush in the dark, which can be negated with light amp goggles. Footnote, it's easy to take this for granted, but No Rest for the Living is a really good looking wad, especially for being restricted to Doom 2 assets only. Grade B-, difficulty B. Map 3, Canyon of the Dead. Canyon of the Dead is a breath of fresh air. After a high-pressure start fending off hit scanners, revenants, hell knights, and Makibai with flimsy weaponry, the level spills outdoors, treating you to the site of NRFTL's natural stylings. Find the yellow key to raise a bridge to the green marble fortress, and save a handful of rockets to make the demons go down like 9 pins. Canyon of the Dead reminds me of Industrial Zone from Doom 2. The two maps share a sense of sandboxiness, favoring open-ended, spread-out combat and a fondness for secrets. J.D. Herrera's MIDI gives this one a big boost. It's pensive, dramatic, spooky, and hard-edged in all the right places. I like this map. It's fun, concise, and easy on the eyes. Grade A-, difficulty C-. Map 4, Hell Mountain. Picking up where Canyon of the Dead left off, Hell Mountain opens with an uphill battle against some demons dug into the gorge. Chain Gunners, Macubi, Hell Knights, and 4 Arachnotron turrets will do their best to make your ascent miserable, but once you penetrate the fortress, the map's energy fizzles out completely. Hell Mountain has the lowest monster count in the WoD, and its traps are meek and predictable. Ammo management can get tricky with all the bullet sponges galumphing around, but enthusiastic secret hunters need not worry. It's around this point in the WoD where I start having trouble remembering where the secrets are. I mean, can you blame me? My advice is, if a wall looks suspicious, press it. And if it doesn't look suspicious, you should probably also press it. Grade C+, difficulty B+. Map 9, March of the Demons. No Rest for the Living's secret map is a big, symmetrical warehouse overrun by demons that get released in flights by a series of switches. The level seems to get its name from the fact that the monsters come at you with a running start. The Spider Mastermind and Archvile debut here, and the presence of the latter is certainly the scariest part of the map. I screwed this encounter up royally during recording. If you let the Archie advance, he'll start resurrecting stuff, padding his already beefy buffer of honor guards, and nobody wants that. Pounce on him quickly, and this fight won't be a huge problem. Oh, and don't mind the Mastermind, she's just there to scare you off. Once again, the secret areas here are numerous and arbitrary. In this level specifically, the advantage they grant is minimal. I have to admit, this terrestrial tech-based aesthetic jives with my tastes much more than what's coming. Grade B, difficulty B-. Map 5, Vivisection. Say goodbye to the wide open combat zones of the last 3 maps. Vivisection slaps a shotgun in your hand, you turn a corner, chest bump a Mancubus, spin around, and then there's a Caco and a Hell Knight right in your face. That's this map in a nutshell. The halls are stuffed with imps, zombies, and assorted mid-tier foes, most of which have to be shotgunned and chain gunned if you lack the patience for infighting. The pressure starts to peg the meter when you grab the red key. The ensuing ambush inundates the map with enemies, and they'll cook your goose unless you're either very nimble or very lucky. Or you just find the secrets. This map is often hyped as No Rest for the Living's hardest challenge, but that really only holds true for first-time players. If you find the passage that leads outside, acquire the rocket launcher in Berserk, and be conscientious about refilling your bullets and shells between fights, Vivisection shouldn't be that intimidating on repeated playthroughs. Be patient, observant, and make your rockets count. The map will reward you. Grade B+, difficulty B-. Map 6, Inferno of Blood. If you didn't get your masochistic kicks in Vivisection, say hello to Inferno of Blood. A punishing slog through scarlet caverns and blood-soaked crevasses. The enemy roster is stacked with tougher demons, including double-digit Cacos, Revenants, and Hell Knights. Half the WoD's Archviles also reside in this level. That is, 2 of them. One of them's harmless, but the other has the potential to cause major problems for the lackadaisical. The yellow key fight can overwhelm you if you're dumb like me and forgot to pick up the plasma rifle before triggering the ambush. I mean, I had fun, but I wouldn't recommend anybody do it this way. This map is a perfect example of why No Rest for the Living needed a MIDI pack. Listen for yourself. Would you rather have In the Dark, or Staccato Slaughter? Inferno of Blood is pleasantly non-linear, with some neat side coves to delve into for extra goodies and optional encounters. This secret platform pseudo-puzzle is particularly worthwhile. Unfortunately, Map 6 is about the point where the secret placements start to elicit shakes of my head. I get that wall humping is a time-honored tradition, and the co-designers were probably riffing on the classic game's more obscure secrets, but I gotta roll my eyes when they go completely untelegraphed. Anyway, if you find 3 special switches, you'll unlock the BFG, which is useful for disposing of the last infernal bushwhack, and that's it. Grade B, difficulty B. Map 7, Baron's Banquet. Baron's Banquet is disappointing, and I think that can mostly be attributed to its placement in the penultimate slot. It's a pushover compared to maps 5, 6, and 9, with the only threatening fight coming right at the beginning. A swarm of cacodemons will try to surround you at the top of the red tower, but if you're quick, you can beat them to the ground floor and pick them off from a hidey hole. With the early plasma gun in hand, you can pretty much clobber everything in your path. Then, if you feel like, you can hop in the lava and find the secret yellow key, which unlocks the BFG, which makes the ending even easier. You're given 30 rockets and 200 cells to deal with a few pinkies, specters, cacos, macubi, and an impotent archvile, and one last dribble of Hell Knights, pinkies, revenants, and pain elements. fundamentals. Reading that sentence felt longer than the time it took to clean up this puny excuse for a final showdown. The last nail in this map's coffin is the lone Baron's placement. How come he's not sitting at a dinner table, Last Supper style? That's a missed opportunity. Joking aside, Baron's Banquet probably should have been made harder or placed earlier in the map order. Grade C, difficulty C. Map 8, Tomb of Malevolence. Tomb of Malevolence is a big dark room with 101 imps and a single cyber demon in it. Don't get me wrong, rocketing imps is a grand old time in pretty much any context, but I can't help thinking, really? That's it? Pressing skull switches will lower big blocks of arena, giving you more dodging room for Lord Cybe. If you don't feel like reenacting Tower of Babel, there's also a pair of plasma rifles, 2 energy cells, and a fully loaded super shotgun for the taking. Clear out the imps, take down the missile-launching skyscraper with goat legs, kill the stragglers, make your escape, and it's time for curtain call. Grade C, difficulty D. So, No Rest for the Living is well-rounded, lovingly made, and absolutely worthy of its place among official classic Doom releases. It respects its source material and contemporaneous players equally, successfully creating a vivid retro experience that doesn't ostracize newcomers or baby veterans at higher difficulties. Though it does lose steam by the end, No Rest for the Living is short enough not to wear out its welcome. It's an ideal, evening-sized adventure. NRFTL was in dire need of a new set of tunes, having doubled down on Sean's Got the Shotgun, Into Sandy's City, and the Dave D. Taylor blues, so the community-made MIDI pack comes highly recommended from me. Shoutouts to Bloo, Cami Banana, Decino, Dwars, JD Herrera, MegaSphere, Rogue Akai, Seago, Sumo, and Trial D for their excellent work. My final grade for No Rest for the Living is a B. As a spiritual successor to the classics, NRFTL is right on par with Sigil. For difficulty, let's give it a C-. Somewhat tougher than Doom 2 on a per-map basis, but far easier than the majority of content this show covers. Now for my Dean's List. Valedictorian, Map 1, the Earth Base. Salutatorian, Map 3, Canyon of the Dead. Class President, Map 6, Inferno of Blood. And the dunce cap goes to Map 8, Tomb of Malevolence. Thank you very much for watching, and please feel free to share your thoughts on the WOD down below. I'd love to hear what you think, and I'll heart your comments to let you know I've read them. Now, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge my generous patrons. Aaron Allen, Aaron Berger, Akalai, Alec Wehrman, Alexander Semenkov, Alex Topfer, Alex Max, Arya Dare, Builder Sith, Callum Duncan, Kappa Bitch, Cheese Wheel, Chris Duthat, Chris O'Neill, Christophine Place, Kiara P, Crafty One Cal, Dan, Delirium, Dorothy Miller, Emma Essex, Enraged Eggplant, Final Brett, Garu Dave, General Roasterock, Glenn Marmon, Griffin Upchurch, Gus Shade, Holy Hell Revealed When, In Captivity, Jared C. Bly, Jesse Taylor, Josh Ballard, Camille Bernadotte, Leon Staten, Mark Rowland, Marky Music, Master Drew 117, Matthew Gower, Mixer, Mr. Bob Cyndaquil, Myolden, Neurometry, Nick Machado, One True Purple, Pyro She, Sega Monkey, Sid Menon, Sir Marcy, Spinner 8, Stupid Nick, Susanna Grimm, Tarakushino, The Bell Tolls, TJG1289, Turbine 2K5, and Why Bimo Not a Crab. Thank you. I appreciate you all. This is Mount Pain 27, and I'll see you in the next episode of Dean of Doom.